DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's AMA with DeFi Kingdoms. As always, it is lovely to be here. Welcome to everyone who is here with us live and all of those tuning into this recording a little bit later on. In the meantime, to kick things off, let's find out how everybody's doing. So, Hubert, starting with you, how are you doing today?
Hey, Bolon, and hey, everybody. I'm doing pretty well. A little bit sleepy, but that's kind of usual for me. And yeah, that's how you doing, Bolon?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm also kind of sleepy, but doing well and glad to be here as always. I imagine you're just sleepy from that infant life. I don't have a good excuse.
Yeah, he doesn't let me sleep in at all. So
Yeah, I don't have a good excuse. Mine is just my own bad habits. Dreamer, how are you doing today?
Well, I have a better argument to be sleepier than you guys. You guys are in the future. It's like midday, not early at all. Actually, it's not too early for me anymore either. But I'm doing good. I last week was a little rough. I don't know if anybody out there has heard of something called a parasite cleanse. It happens around other parts of the world where they do it like once or twice a year. I think because I traveled a lot, and I ate a lot of like raw fish. I had the good idea to do one, and it like almost murdered me. 0 out of 10. Don't recommend. Parasite, just leave them where they are. They're fine. Don't take the meds and die for a week.
The cleanse did more damage than the parasite did.
Emotionally, at least.
you heard it here first.
You like see him come out too. It's like it's just not. It's not great. I don't want to talk about it.
oh, you had him there.
No, I'm not sick. I'm good. It was self-inflicted, and I have been traveling less, so I've actually been getting sick way less. But yeah. How am I doing? I'm parasite free. Bolon, how about you? How are your parasites?
Listen, I couldn't tell you, and I don't want to know, apparently, but it's good to know that maybe the FDA does serve a purpose.
Yeah.
I've long wondered.
Smuggled medicine from Asia is fine, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, that is true with my Taco Bell intake. But I don't know. I drink enough Mountain Dew. I feel like there's nothing alive in my body anymore. You just have to wash it with acid constantly.
Noted. Noted. Is there a Mountain Dew Zero yet? Or are they still just giving everybody diabetes?
No, there's Zero. Yeah, you can get Mountain Dew Zero. I don't know why you would, but you can.
What does Zero give you? It's got to give you Alzheimer's?
Probably. The
right.
fake sweeteners are worse than sugar.
I'll convert back to the Dew. We'll do some extreme Dew drinking contests.
This is an official health recommendation for the record. Yep, there's Sticks intern coming in with the agreement. It is worse. Anyway, and as far as the AMA goes today, you may notice that we do not have a certain Winston Jazz Hands up here. However, he will be fighting. He just could not join the stage today, which means that we can freely talk smack about his performance with no repercussions. He can't defend himself. So I'm really excited for that part at the very least. However, there will be 2 matches. He is fighting Broody. The first match is in just over 13 minutes, and the second match is 15 minutes after that. So make sure you get in there, vote, sponsor if you so choose. I know Winston will be doing the giveaway. I don't know exactly when, but it will happen. So get in there, have a good time, participate with these AMA bouts in 13 and 15 minutes. In the meantime, we are going to watch those fights once the time comes. But actually, that's what meantime means. In the meantime, some other announcements. We are going to be going live following this. Myself and Sachet, you will be seeing us again. We will be doing the Transcendence kickoff event number 3 drawing, as well as the second and third drawing for the Metis Visage giveaway that came from hosting and participating in tournaments. So make sure you tune back in probably 10-15 minutes after this is done, and we will be back live, and you get to hear the dulcet tones of Sachet, which is really the only reason that any of you tune in and why I make him still do these with me. So don't miss out on the opportunity to hear from Sachet. But in the meantime, counters are up. So make sure you get in there, get voting. I already spent all my influence on these 2 matches. I promise I do have influence. I just already spent it. But last but not least, kicking it back over to Hubert for an update on some tournament things.
Yeah. So now that All Star is finished and we're done with season 1 of our tournament series, we are going to be going into an off season, and we are looking to get those all up and running here shortly after this stream. That'll be for the next. Well, anyway, we'll get a week's worth of tournaments, and we'll kind of go through the same process we did in the season 1 of like every week we'll set up the next ones. In this, they let's see. I think Bolin, you have more of the details than I do on hand. But let's see. In this, like we're going for kind of a easier entry, more frequent type of setup where there's going to be 4 tournaments per day. Each of them will be 8-person tournaments. They'll be at fixed times every day. We may adjust what those fixed times are if it seems like it would be beneficial to do so. But right for at least for this coming week, it'll be all fixed. The first week will just be they'll all be the same type of tournament where same type in that like the rewards will be the same, like the entry requirements may be different. Like we'll be doing a lot of level 20 tournaments. Every tournament is going to have like all unique hero requirements. There will be some that have like trait limits on them, some that will exclude a certain hero type class. And then we will also be doing days where there are level 9 tournaments and then days where there are level 15 tournaments for now. We could also adjust those as well based on feedback and how popular we see things be or not be. After this week, we will start to do kind of a second set of these kind of tournaments. The rewards will still be the same, but the entry fees will be different, where it'll be cheaper to get in, but it'll require that you use one of the season 1 qualifier tokens. And we're using for the first time like our use any configuration that we have in the contract, which lets you, like, if you have like say a weekend warrior token or like a revenge or champion token, you could choose which of those 2 you want to use, since neither of those are going to really have a use case in the coming season. So just to kind of let people that did participate in tournaments in the last season use anything that they had left over, and we will also be kind of giving away a few of the kind of excess tokens, qualifier tokens that we still have in like our creation wallet, as like first and second prizes. So people that are playing in the off season can also, if they happen to not have any tokens, they can potentially get them as well to be able to play in those. And then we have a third tournament type that will start, I think, after that point, where you'll need 2 different qualifier tokens, like one of the non-transferable, which are the square ones, and one of the transferable types. And those ones will have a Submersian chest as the first place prize as well. So there'll still be a little bit more of the rewards from those available. But yeah, you'll need to have both of those kind of types of tokens to be able to join. So you'll want to be kind of on the lookout for, if you don't have those, which I think a lot of people probably have, like Revenger tokens. But if you don't, then you'd want to be trying to win like first or second on the tournaments that have whatever you're missing. So I think that kind of covers the gist of everything, but there's more details to come that I think we'll be posting once we get the tournaments all set up. But was there anything that I missed, Bolin, or that you wanted to add?
I think it was a really good summary there. And yeah, to your point, we will be posting all of the details a little bit later today, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, the goal is, off season, so not really a like progressive format, although I guess if you don't have any existing qualifier tokens, it can be, but it's not really focused on the progressive system or setup, and it's meant to be more casual and fun, lower stakes, lower rewards as well. Did you talk about frequency?
I think so. Every day, 4 times a
Okay.
day.
Perfect. Good deal. I couldn't remember for sure. Sorry. So yeah, stay tuned for all of the details on that front, but excited to get some tournaments running again and see what you guys think. Definitely a lot of level 20s. I think 5 out of the 7 days of the week will be level 20s at this point. And trying out some different angles with, more focus on excluded class instead of included, and, just trying out some different stuff. So as always, as you participate, ideally, continue giving us feedback, much like during the season. This is all subject to change, but it gives us some more ideas and some more feedback to keep refining and improving the system. All right. With that, we will roll into some questions, which the first question I'm actually going to take, and it is related to tournaments. Perfect timing. So we had our All-Star tournament. There was a match that ran long, which then delayed a couple of other matches. So we were able to get it all taken care of. Everything ran overall very smoothly, but that did result in a couple of matches not being able to be voted on with influence. So the question is, what will happen with the jewel that was not able to be voted on during the All-Star tournament? So that jewel automatically went back to the Coliseum Fund so that it's, completely safe and secure. And what we are going to do is we are going to pick some of these off-season tournaments and juice up the sponsorship on those using that jewel. So all of the off-season tournaments will have an automatic sponsorship, but with it being, low risk and low reward, the sponsorships are pretty low, to be honest. So we're going to take this jewel and juice some of them up. So we will keep you guys informed and give you notice on which tournaments are going to have the higher sponsorships, but all of the jewel that was allocated for that will be then redistributed through these tournaments instead. So it is what it is, but it gives us a good opportunity to juice up some of these other tournaments during the off season. So that'll be nice. And like I said, we'll make sure that you guys know in advance when those are coming as well. All right, going into the traditional Hubert hour. Hubert, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. First question. Loving double XP week. Any chance a power up can be added so that hunts can be played twice a day instead of once a day?
Yeah, I'd say it's technically possible to do anything like that. Though I guess I would have one concern about doing that in just that I don't, I'm pretty hesitant to make power-ups that we might want to not use in the future, that people would have to like deallocate from. The system is not really like well set up for like disabling a power-up. And in the future, I've kind of talked about this before in other AMAs. I'd like to get to a state where void hunts aren't just something you go talk to a guy at a desk to just do automatically, but things that you kind of gain access to through travel and like the things that you can do through traveling. So once it gets to something more like that, I think, you know, there may not be limits on how many times you can do it that are just like strictly per day, but more about limits and like you have to like find these hunts and then you can do them kind of thing. So if we were to switch things that way, I don't think a power up like this would kind of make sense for that. And that makes me pretty hesitant to want to create one that does that.
Nice. As a follow-up question to that, would love to potentially see the same thing for patrols, but there are not currently power-ups in Sun, the appropriate acronym for the Sundials. Are we adding power-ups in the Sundials eventually?
I really don't understand why that is. It's SI.
Wait, are you on the wrong side of this argument too?
I don't think it's the wrong side of the argument. So, is this just because we have a Sticks intern in our community and we don't like to have community acronyms match with game acronyms?
No, I don't care about that. I don't remember why it's Sun, but there's a reason.
Crystal Veil. The veil is like a different syllable. Sun is like, it doesn't follow any pattern that we've used before. Anyway, so with that said,
Dr. Zipper, I know he has strong feelings on this too. Where is he?
Like really, I think if we follow the previous patterns, it would be like SDI probably, because you go by the syllables. But then that doesn't even make sense because Crystal Veil has a missing in anyway. Sarandel does too, actually, for that matter. So you skip the second syllable and you use the third one. It makes perfect sense. Sundials follows the same pattern. Anyways, so the question, power-ups on Sundials SI. So when we were designing Sundials, we kind of specifically did not include a jeweler over there because we knew we were going to have more limited and focused functionality over there and didn't want to kind of commit to something like that. With that said, though, we did create the influence system and, you know, had been considering having there be something that you can do with influence to kind of be similar to what power-ups do. We still might do something like that, but it has not really been like a top priority with our development cycles. But it is still something that we may do, and I would say that there could be a possibility of that also including like extra patrol access. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't really commit to anything. Just, you know, saying that is something we've discussed and we're, you know, favorable towards. Just it's a matter of deciding when we're going to prioritize doing that.
Nice. Thank you, sir. I'm glad to see that the chat has really started getting into the Sun versus SI debate.
You know, I only see you arguing in favor of Sun. So.
Listen, there's others. They just aren't here right now, okay? Also, our first AMA bout has begun. So it is Winston v. Broody, which Broody is Bad Eric. No. I'm sorry. Broody is Broody in Discord as well. Sorry, I was getting my people mixed up. Apologies. But excited to watch this one as it plays out as well. And while that gets going, Hubert, we're going to do some rapid fire exercises here. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
So our first overall topic, void hunts. What are the team's thoughts on the difficulty of void hunts?
I think they should be difficult. I don't know if there's more context to that question. If there's people that think it's too hard or too easy. But
do you think it is currently too hard, too easy, or just right?
I would say, you know, we've introduced a bunch of new classes, and we haven't rebalanced the hunts with them in mind. So it's probably maybe too easy in some regards, perhaps. But I'm not positive. I have seen people using comps that include wizards or pirates that seem to be easier for them to win. And I've seen people mentioning that they're just going to use specific teams and stop using other teams that they were using, that those specific teams including pirates and wizards. So that does make me think that maybe there is need for some rebalancing over there, but it may just be that there's need for rebalancing of the classes instead. But in general, I still think void hunts should be hard, and I'm going to continue to try to design them so that they are a challenge.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Continuing on the rapid fire, though, is the plan to keep the void hunts one-off battles, or will they be integrated into something like patrols with different battles?
So yeah, I guess this kind of gets back to what I was talking about before with like traveling. I think we could have it be that we get traveling out, and then we introduce something that's similar to patrols into like the travel system, and then while you're in the middle of doing those things, you encounter a void hunt in the middle of it. It could work out that way. Another way it could work out is more like you are doing that system, and in the process of it, you get like some message like, oh, you discover a trail to like this. There's a trail of boar footprints and fungus, and that's weird. And then that like gives you access to like the boar hunt, as just a random example that just off the top of my head, how I don't take that literally. But we could do things like that where it's like through doing this system, you gain access to that things in that system. And we haven't really decided one way or the other, and it could be both or something completely different from either of those two things too. So, I think it's always a little bit challenging with, we want to make sure that when you're doing it, we could push it really hard where you have to do like 3 stages of essentially a patrol. And then at the end of that is a void hunt, and you have to use whatever potions you have left over and all that stuff. So like that could get pretty challenging. And, that just will be something we're going to need to consider, like how hard we want to push it and, what kind of accessibility we want to have for people. So we shall see. But yeah, I do think things could change there.
Nice. Any insight on when we might expect a new void hunt?
So we do have like at least a few different void hunt concepts that have been at least designed from the gameplay perspective, or at least to some extent. I don't know that I'd say that they're fully ready. They haven't been tested or balanced, or like the art hasn't been created for them yet. But we do have some kind of that have been prepared. It's really just kind of a matter of our priorities right now, and at the moment we're not prioritizing another hunt, but we have been trying to like work in parallel to have the designs ready so that we can do them when we're ready to. Unfortunately, I don't know when that is going to become our priority at this point.
How likely is the next void hunt to utilize void shards?
Very likely.
How likely is the next void hunt to include permanent death of heroes when losing?
I would say that's more than a 50% likelihood, but I guess it might not happen, but I would like it to.
What kind of rewards is the next void hunt likely to have? Hey, I just asked the questions.
I mean, probably you would expect a new set of equipment available from it, I would say. I'm not sure if there will be anything beyond equipment, but typically what we've done is, some of the best equipment in the game comes from void hunts. I think we'd probably continue along that trend.
Very nice, very nice. All right, so that concludes our rapid fire void hunt question section of the day. But now we're going into our rapid fire crafting section. So here we go. How far is the crafting system designed, at least on paper?
Not very,
All right.
especially on paper. I mean, there's a lot of ideas and kind of general design thought towards, here's what we're going to need to do to design it. But yeah, like
What about on digital paper?
no, not very, not very.
I know for a fact, though, you do a lot of your math on paper.
That's true.
So, it's not an incorrect question. Uh, what will most likely be needed to do various crafting, such as plants, fish, gold, new materials, recipes, land and buildings, existing weapons? What do you foresee as ingredients?
So I definitely think some of the things that you can get from profession quests now or in the future will be involved. I think uh, I'd very much like for us to have ingredients that come from combat content. And we could also include equipment as well as ingredients. Um, we could even go as far as like some things require divine essence or they require void shards, to like give it like a special uh, property, things like that. So um, a lot of things, and I do think we will likely have intermediate ingredients as well, where might need to make like oils or infusions, or if you think like the alchemy profession, like what would that be doing most of the time? And I think generally it would be like creating essences and infusions that would then oils, whatever that would be used to as like a primary ingredient for a lot of equipment. And the ingredients that go into those oils and whatnot could be like fish and other things, mushrooms, whatever. So.
Would you say that the oils will be essential?
they, they would.
Also, the dad jokes are rocking in the chat right now, and I gotta give them a shout out for these excellent. I mean, they are just on fire in there. All right. How far in advance of the release of crafting does the team think it is appropriate to allow players to gather new resources required for crafting?
I would want it to be pretty close. Like we saw with the profession quests, like just due to a lot of different events that kind of caused us to slow down our development pace. That we didn't really have a use case for potions for a very long time, and we just saw like supplies kind of really jump up as people were just doing profession quests with no other activities available. I wouldn't want to recreate that same situation again. So I'm hoping that it would be pretty close, if not like at the same time, that it would be like already in development and tested, or like in testing. And we at that point we feel confident that it's not going to be far off and could start releasing those things.
Nice. You already actually alluded to at least part of this, but how will potential new resources required for crafting be attainable?
Yeah, I think I did answer that already, but again, from profession quests, from combat content, and some of them would probably be secondary ingredients from crafting itself.
Nice. What type of crafting are we likely to be able to do through NPCs before we can craft with our heroes?
So enchanting is something that you'll be able to do before, which will be with the release of durability, we're going to release enchanting. That will be NPC based. In the future, though, when we do have crafting out, I would probably want to remove that functionality from the NPCs and to require that it all be done through the crafting system itself using player-based enchanting. And we may also see the alchemist go away for that matter at that point. So right now there is some alchemy and there will be some enchanting in advance, but beyond that, I'd prefer to have it all be more integrated into the crafting system itself when it's ready.
Nice. Last one for this section. Any thoughts on allowing chaos crystals to be turned into other attunement crystals?
I suppose that could happen, but not something we were planning on doing.
Nice. Thank you, sir. But don't worry, you're not off the hook yet. Our rapid fire sections have come to a conclusion, but we do have some additional questions for you. Uh, any thoughts on extending the XP boosts for the month of September?
Probably not going to. It seems like it's been pretty successful though, and so I know there's been requests for us to consider special events or other things that would offer it more frequently, and we can consider that. But I don't think we're going to just blanket say, okay, all of September you get it. So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Any thought on the current state of battle animations and what goes into determining the oomph factor for combat animations?
I feel like there's a lot more to this question that makes this too general for me to to answer it appropriately. So I'll just say, because I know there's more here, that there was, I guess some commentary that a couple of the attacks feel like they are subpar compared to some of the new ones, probably
Yeah,
especially with Pirate.
sorry, I
Um,
was reading something else at the same time, but we can add so Mighty Strike or Rapid Onslaught, for example, seem too plain. Thoughts on like adding nice slash effects that actually travel across the screen or even some screen shaking?
yeah, so with our combat system, it does have some limitations in how animations work, and to do some of those things, like it would require like a complete overhaul, especially something where you have like something cross from the hero that's doing the animation across the screen to like hit a specific target. Right now, we don't have any sort of dynamic allocation. Like if you have like a fireball that originates from the wizard and like arcs across the screen and hits, row 3 or row 2 or row 1, um, that would require 3 different sets of animations for that to work. But then actually it would require 6, because then you would need to consider where's the position of the wizard, and we would basically need to make 6 different arcs and have 6 different animations, and that's a lot of work to do. There's, we it would be nice if we could have things be more dynamic, but the system itself is just not robust enough to like make that easy. So we do kind of have to, like, we have limitations that we have to work with, and I can tell you for sure that there have been many times where I have been like, please, and like really kind of begged SBD and Beetle, and they've just been like, it's just, if you want us to spend a month revamping this whole system, we can do it and not do anything else. It's like, so it's something where, I just, it's hard to prioritize something like that. And it's also something where, it's kind of difficult to estimate exactly how much effort it would be to like really enhance the system in a way that does make things like that more feasible. But with that said, I mean, can we make Mighty Strike more mighty? Can we make Rapid Onslaught feel more impactful? Potentially. But it's, again, another question of like, do we want our art team focused on, revamping or redoing certain things, or do we want them focused on new things? And in general, we're kind of more leaning towards the doing more new things, more so, because I think, even if those don't have as much oomph as say Call of the Sea does, like it still works. I think it's just one of those things where if we have time down the road and we want to just like spruce things up, I think we could look at some of these things for sprucing, but it's kind of really hard to prioritize that right now.
Nice. Thank you, Hubert. greatly appreciate you. Oh God, what's happening? Sorry, my computer froze up for a second. We're good. I'm back. All right. Greatly appreciate you, Sir Hubert. We are going to give you a break and we are going to transition from Hubert Hour to Dreamer Hour. So, Dreamer, are you ready?
Oh man, I'm so ready. I'm ready for these positive, happy, exciting questions. That just
me too. In the meantime, though, we'll so, first question for Dreamer Hour. Why is there no PvE gameplay on Serendale?
Is there no PvE gameplay on Serendale? In order to answer that question, I think we have to go to story time. And we go back to the past and go back to the very first hunt. When that hunt came out, I think it was timed with some other things happening. And when we're looking at a hunt, there were other things happening that informed this decision. I think one of them was the hack to their bridge, which then resulted in no stable on chain, which was a big concern because all the other tokens kind of had an issue there. They had also communicated privately and then publicly their intention to merge with Finchia, and that they were going to be spending an unknown, undisclosed amount of time working through that, launching a new chain, eventually partnering with a Line and doing like Line dApps and stuff. So, ironically enough, with this question, we had a pretty big hunt sponsorship from Klaytn, now Kaya, even though it was not on their chain or in Serendale, because they fully knew all of those issues. The reason we did not put the hunt over there and have not migrated one is a lot of those same concerns that we re-highlighted during story time, which led to 2 hunts on Crystalvale and none on Serendale. They're kind of still present. I would love for each of the realms to have a hunt, and I would love for both chains to be operating and supporting gameplay and transactions, things similarly. That's just not the case right now. If that changes, I think we would see more dispersion of hunts. It was our design and our plan. The fallback was to put on DFK Chain, and it's worked. We've been able to do a number of things with it, and folks have been able to have their hunt teams in one place, not moving back and forth. But the intent is that there would be one eventually in Serendale, wherever Serendale is, whether it's still on Kaya or somewhere else. Just a lot of those issues on why we didn't launch one in the first place would need to be resolved and bettered in order to encourage everybody to move assets and do all the things that are required to have like cross-chain hunting teams, which I think would increase the complexity a bit for the hunting gamer. Did I miss anything, Bull, on story time?
No, I think that was good. We'll get everybody back up off the carpet and into their desk chairs. Also, chat is on one today. They're just killing it today. So if you're not reading YouTube chat, you're really missing out here. But in the let's see, next question in Dreamer Hour, in relation to the All-Star tournament, anything that we can talk about in terms of marketing support from Metis for the All-Star tournament?
Oh man, what's my allotted shade that I can throw?
I'm going to leave that up to you.
We'll keep it at 0. We'll keep it at 0. So yeah, we did have correspondence with tournament, and I did see Bolon go back and forth, and there were some questions, and it seemed like there was intent to support, but yeah, on Twitter and X, we didn't see that happen, so we don't have an answer, but we can report that there is planning and intent for there to be amplification. All rewards were in stables, so that we could plan everything better. Maybe there was, I'm speculating, maybe it's like, oh, because it's not the Metis token. I'm not sure. In my opinion, yeah, there should have been amplification. That was the plan. We communicated. I haven't heard why there wasn't yet, though. So don't have the answer for you. But in my opinion, there should be. And we'll work to see if there's anything on our side we could do going forward to help that. But from my observation, Bolin did a fine job, and we communicated well. And yeah, we'll ask him what happened there.
Thank you, sir. Keeping it going. Anything that you can give insight-wise on approximately how many hours in a week is being spent on active game development?
It's a hard question to answer because, like, how do you define game development? Are we excluding people that aren't working on the game? Is it just kind of everybody that's contributing? And then even then, like, it's, I don't know how much more transparent we could be, but I don't think going to like single digit number of hours differential across the team is something that we're looking to report. But I can say that everybody working on the game is at part-time or even like less than part-time hours. We've communicated this, extending runway and moving these things up and down as we are able to. Nothing's changed since last time we talked about it. And many people put in many more hours than kind of the less than part-time allotment. But that's really up to them. We're not here pressuring people or expecting people to, put in full weeks when we're not able to pay. But to be honest, a lot of them do. And that's why oftentimes, we use the word passion project. Hubert, I wonder if on the AMA for that question that came up earlier, I wonder if you said passion project and the listener misinterpreted that. We use that term sometimes just because everybody, including those in the community, we all give so much to this project and this game and this journey, oftentimes in excess of any type of like calculated ROI or compensation or anything. Does that answer the question? Like how many hours are being worked is different than how many are being clocked and like paid. There's hours being like, I guess, donated by people where they work well over. And then there's a lot of work going on outside of game development, but it isn't zero and it's nowhere near full time. And it's, the expectations are even less than part time, if that is clear enough.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And similarly, and to what you just alluded to, actually, as well. So this is a separate question, but very related. Fox came on the AMA last week, and he mentioned that he is acting as more of an advisor at the moment as we work through our current priorities, and then. To what you just alluded to, there was something said in the All-Star stream. I don't know what, so I can't tell you. But it led to the impression, at least for this person, that DFK was a side project and that Kingdom Studios is slowing down their involvement with DeFi Kingdoms. So, is there anything you can shed some light on that front?
I see Zealous at 6 minutes. Are people timing my responses? Do I talk too long? Oh wait, no. Okay, cool. I thought it was about me just rambling. No timing, no clock. Stop clock. Yeah, so I think when I mentioned that previous comment, I thought we already got to that question. We haven't. Okay, cool. So, so last week Fox joined us. One update he gave was how Magnus has been stepping up as kind of our primary blockchain dev, especially with everything game related for some time now. Fox has always been involved to some degree on a lot of those things. But more recently, kind of like handing the reins of blockchain stuff as it relates to game development and everything to Magnus. And Magnus does an incredible job. I think it's been that way for, I don't know, over a year and a half. And Fox is, I think previously duels and many other things as they came up. He did a ton of additional work working with Magnus and Hubert and others, or things outside of the core game stuff. So there's that, which might have confused this question asker. And then on the stream, yeah, I just have a hunch that maybe the term passion project was used and there was confusion. So to answer directly, Kingdom Studios is not decreasing, focus or involvement or development in DeFi Kingdoms as a game and protocol. The rate of which we can expect and capital budget development based on our runway fluctuates. But our team is still actively focused. And if you look at how much we've put out in the last 9 months, like this year, I think that answers the question for itself. And what we have coming, in testing now are just 2 major features in testing right now. That when they come up, I think they'd be pretty big. So yeah, I think that answers it very clearly, hopefully. But then if the viewer heard anything from Fox talking about like a side project or something, Fox is he likes to tinker. He likes to work on little things completely outside of our main roadmap, and he's an innovator. So he's probably has multiple little side projects going on in his life, and I think that's what he was referring to. He wasn't speaking for the team in any way, saying that this was. And then on the stream, I don't know. Hubert, do you remember what you said? It was probably something to the extent of like, we love this game. It's a passion project, regardless of what deals we have. And maybe somebody was like, what? Is this a side project? So hopefully that clears it up. But Hubert, anything to add?
I don't remember specifically what I said or anything that would have maybe led to that impression, but it was not my intent to give that impression. This project is definitely not a side project. It's the only thing that I've been working on for the past 4 years. And I want to continue for that to be the case. So sorry if anything I said gave that impression to anybody. That was not my intent.
Very nice. I appreciate both of you gentlemen. And yeah, I mean, I'll just say, like, from a personal note as well, like, it being a passion project is why it's still alive. Like, if it wasn't for that, like, we've all made a lot of sacrifices that we make because it's a passion project and we love this project and we love what we do. So that is a very, very, very good thing that it is a passion project. Let's see, Dreamer, one more question for you at the moment. So you've mentioned previously that we are not buying Jewel, but we are also not selling Jewel. Have we considered staking Jewel in the jeweler to like show that extra level of conviction?
Okay, so on the not buying Jewel, I think that's always making sure that we don't have a history of like any argument or perception or misperception of manipulating price or buybacks or anything. That's why we don't do that. On the selling part, since the beginning, very transparent about DFK tokens funding the project or being a source of funding the project, even though we are looking at deals and other ways to continue to sustain, which has been successful thus far. So that's just some background on buying and selling. So we don't buy, and maybe we'll get some legal advice and find the right time where we find wherever we can. We can sell. We haven't for a while because we're finding other ways to sustain, so we don't have downward pressure. Can we stake? I would say technically we can. I don't know if that would be viewed by all as a no-brainer positive though, because that Jewel is technically like soft burned, as we're not doing anything with it, and even if we were, like, we're very predictable and non-disruptive with anything we do. So it's very similar to being staked. I think maybe this person is asking, well, if you don't, to threaten not to dump it, just stake it all, because then you can't access it, and if you do, a chunk is burned. Well, the thing is that would also take away, it would dilute heavily those that are staking in there for a portion of the fees. Our wallets already get a portion of the fees, so it'd kind of be double dipping to take away from everybody else. So we've always held a view that managing our treasury, if we were to discuss, hey, yield on static tokens, can we use our own protocols to boost yield? And that it has always felt, at least internally, as not ethical. goal. And even if we're transparent, it just seemed like, hey, more is soft burn, but also like now you get way less. So that's been our stance. I don't see that changing on the buy, sell, or stake view anytime soon. Could we, if there are other sources elsewhere, could we stake it? We have found like other dexes and providing liquidity, and like, and Hercules is coming out trying to take advantage of early liquidity there and trying to get some rewards. So there was some ways to stake it or get some yield outside of diluting our own players' returns. If those opportunities come up, we'll consider it. But right now, we're going to continue as we have been until there's a reason to change, and we'll communicate when, if and when our view changes on that.
Yeah, which just to add to that too, like that's always been our approach since day one, even with like LPs. So we like if you look at DFK Chain, we have to start the LP pool because it's still a whitelisted chain, or somebody who's whitelisted, I guess, to be fair. But when we provide those base liquidity, we then don't put them in the gardens. Like we aren't getting our own emissions. Or weren't when we had emissions. And so it's the same concept there where, those opportunities are meant for players to be able to earn rewards, not for us to participate in the rewards. Real quick, I do have a question for Hubert, but I just wanted to commentate on this match for a moment. So Broody did take match 1 in a glorious victory. Match 2 is just absolutely coming down to the wire here. Winston's got a little bit more health, but Broody's got 2 heroes to his 1. It's going to be very, very, very
Not
interesting.
anymore.
Oh, not anymore. All right. It seems like Winston is in a good place to potentially close this one out, but we'll see.
1 HP.
Wow. And that's why we say anything can happen. Can he do 287 damage? He cannot.
But
Can
will he
Winston
miss?
secure the victory?
Will he miss?
There it is.
Did
Even
it,
with
right.
the block, it wasn't enough. Winston takes home
That was a nail biter.
round 2. It's been several weeks since we've seen the standard Winston performance of going 1-1, but it's good to be back. It's good to see the 1-1 performance from Winston yet again.
How much do you think he's sweating right now? And do you think he's wearing a shirt?
I'm going to go with a lot and no.
Okay, cool. Now my mental image is updated. I hope everybody else is as well. Good job, Winston. That was a great one. If you're listening, go get him.
Yes, shout out to Winston. I assume that he got lucky. I don't know, but huge congratulations for taking home that second win. Shout out to Broody for both participating in the matches and taking home the first win. I do have a message from Broody for the end of this as well. Real quick, Hubert, I saw this dropped in chat a couple of times, so I'm going to throw it to you and see what you want to say, and then we'll go into our wrap up. What is enchanting?
A couple of times by the same person. Germ.
Yes. Yes. It was specifically a very persistent germ curry.
Yes. So yeah, I think I've mentioned this before. But just enchanting, you might have noticed on your equipment that it mentions having enchantment slots. If you have anything that's not from the gold shop anyway. Enchanting is meant to kind of start utilizing those, where you will use up, you'll need to use some of the dust that you'll be able to get from destroying equipment that has low durability, or I mean, you can technically destroy high durability equipment as well, though you won't get as much dust if you do that. And add new bonuses to the equipment in those enchantment slots. So, that could include things like reducing durability loss, or maybe something like increasing damage, or other things like that. but there will be specific enchantments for like each kind of equipment. So armors won't have exactly the same things available as weapons do, or as accessories or shields. Yeah, so you'll be able to do enchanting with the release of durability when we get to that. And if I have never said that, then I'm surprised, because I thought I did already. But if not, I guess happy Alpha Day.
Little sneaky alpha. Keep in mind, tune back in here in, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so. And Sasha and I will be back to do those giveaways. In the meantime, we will go into our wrap up for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate everybody here with us live, as well as those that will watch the recording later. Everybody participating in the YouTube chat really made it fun. Thank you guys for being here and being a part of DeFi Kingdoms. As always, thank you to Hubert and Dreamer for taking the time out of their day to be up here on the stage with us. And I guess, still a thank you to Winston for doing the fights, even though he didn't join the stage. Shout out Broody for being here and doing the 2 fights with Winston as well. Don't forget to submit questions for us to answer in future weeks at talk.defykingdoms.com or in the AMA questions channel in Discord. AMA is Ask Me Anything, so come on. But anyway, Dreamer, any final thoughts that you would like to share?
Oh man, final thoughts. Forgot about final thoughts. Awesome nail biter there with RNG just coming in clutch for our very own Winston. Man, but I want to see a third bout. Why don't we have a third bout? I want to see it go to a third.
There should be a third. I agree.
Yeah, there should be a third. I'm gonna stand here and not leave till a third happens. And I hope everybody joins me. We'll see how long we can go. I'm not gonna mute. I'm not gonna stop talking. What's it called when you?
Filibuster.
Yeah, I'm
Filibustering.
filibustering. Give me a third. I want a third right now. You can't mute me. I'm not gonna mute. Just joking. Great fight. It was awesome to watch. I love the game. I love that people enjoy the competitive nature of the game and the parts that make us happy and mad sometimes. Good game needs it. And having a game in development with this level of competition and blockchain connectedness is unprecedented. We're paving the way. This is hard to see that when we're all here talking and joking and everything, but when we zoom out, we do have to keep the good work going, because many others have failed or paused, and the dream is strong and alive for good reason. And we got a good product. We got good players. We need more players, but until then, we're gonna keep having fun. So thank you everybody for enjoying the competitive nature, bringing the competitive spirit, cheering on others, spectating, and supporting the big tournament from last week and the many more competitive bouts to come.
It looks like, real quick, there will be a community meetup at Battle Mage Brewing Company in Vista, California, next Saturday the 13th at 1 p.m. So, go out, say hey to Sarge and Sticks in turn. I don't know if they intended for me to announce that to everybody, but I am, so too bad. But sad that I won't be able to make this one. I had a really good time out there. Yes, Puerto Rico meetup win. I agree. Hubert, any final thoughts? And then we'll go to our message from Broody.
Yeah, that was a really nice comeback from Winston there. That Frost Lance was clutch, and then for whatever reason, those piercing shots missing like 3 times in a row. That was also pretty clutch. So congrats to him if he listens to this, or if he's listening now, I don't know. Just look out for those. The off-season tournaments starting up should be, the first ones will begin tomorrow, pretty early in the morning for those in the US. But anyone in like the Asia time zones, I think we included one that would be most suitable for that. But I think Europe and Asia should both be able to play in that. We'll see how everything goes. I know there's been a lot of requests for us to do more frequent tournaments with fewer player requirements on them. So we're giving that a go here with this, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, just always appreciate everyone for your continued support of the game. Just looking forward to the future of all the different things we have coming.
Very nice, very nice. Excellent. Apparently Kurt was at the meetup I was at. Huh. I believe that. Okay. Well, now I feel bad, but well, Kurt, I'm glad I got to meet you once, and yeah, okay, I believe you. Anyway, message from Broody. He wanted to give a shout out to Franz and Mellow Fellow for supporting him getting into the All-Star tournament. They are awesome. We are awesome. Everyone else is awesome. Looking forward to the future and bullish. I did customize it a little bit, but bullish.
Bullish.
Take care, and we will see you next week.
DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.